Hi there, welcome to this brief breathing video where we are exploring what optimal breath really means. So optimal breath or diaphragmatic breathing, it's essentially the way nature intended us to breathe, right? So take a moment just to check in and take a couple of deep breaths and notice what you notice in your body. So we'll take a deep breath in through our nose and then out through your nose. Nice. Do that a couple more times. Maybe do it in front of a mirror. Maybe wear a tight shirt or go without a shirt so that you can actually see the physicality of what's happening in your breath as you breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your nose. Good. And so we're just observing. So maybe you noticed your belly expand on your inhalation and your belly deflate on your exhalation. Maybe you notice your shoulders rise on your inhalation and then lower on exhalation. So in optimal breathing, we want to be initiating our breath from the belly and expanding our breath outward into the rib cage. So the intercostal muscles stretch, and then the rest of that breath, so 60% of the breath is going to start in the belly and rib cage, and then the rest of that inhalation is going to come up into the chest. So what we don't want is to start our inhalation in the chest, right? Frequently when people who suffer from anxiety or chronic headaches or chronic neck and shoulder tension or insomnia, many times we find that those people are breathing into their upper chest primarily, right? So it will look something like this. So the belly draws in and then the chest rises. So that is anxious making, right? And that keeps us in that state of fight or flight. So what we want to do is drop the breath down into the belly and explore initiating our breath from the belly. So let's take our hands to the belly now. And just take a couple of deep breaths into the belly. So breathe in through your nose. And allow your belly to expand into your hands. And then as you exhale, you could gently use your abdominals to gather your hands slightly back towards each other. Let's do that again. Inhale breath. And exhale breath. Good. Nice. Now let's take our hands up to our rib cage and do the same thing. But avoid this. Let's just soften those shoulders down and rest your hands at your rib cage. And then just see what you feel here. What we want is to feel the ribs just gently pressing out into our hands, right? So we're going to close the mouth, soften the jaw, and breathe in through our nose. Good. One more like that. Inhale. And exhale. Good. So with optimal breathing, we're giving our diaphragm a chance to expand and stretch, push some of those organs down, expand into the belly, expand into the pelvic floor muscles, and then on the exhalation, everything gathers back into normal, right? The pelvic floor muscles gather back towards each other, the abdominals gather back, the ribs gather back towards each other. Good. So let's try a couple of breaths in this way. Maybe you close your eyes, or maybe you're still looking in a mirror and watching the breath. So really up to you, right? I like to continue to keep my hands somewhere on my torso just to make sure that I am initiating breath from the belly. So 60% of the breath initiates from the belly and then into the ribs, and then the rest of that breath up under the collarbones, maybe even up into the scalenes, right? Without tensing here. Good. So let's do a few together just to practice. And when you practice this more and more, you may begin to feel, and maybe you already do, that even your ribs in the back of your body are expanding. That you may even feel your breath in your low back, your waist, right? So imagining this three-dimensional breath expanding us and then contracting back to its normal state. Great. So it's important to sit up tall when you're breathing in this way, and also feel free to lay down. You can also lay down if you're still practicing this and still working with this breathing, particularly for those of us whose inhalations initiate in our upper chest, right? And we, for some of us, invert that breath. Remember that kind of drawing the belly in and lifting the breath up. We want to avoid that and just reverse that pattern, right? So it might take a little while, and maybe you're already there. Maybe you already are breathing optimally, right? And that's not to suggest that we're breathing in this way with full deep breaths throughout our entire day. It's just when we land and when we're able to sit with the breath for a moment and regroup, we can take our deep breathing in this way. And then eventually you're patterning those muscles to breathe naturally in that way, inhaling, inflating into the belly. Thank you so much for joining me this morning for optimal breathing. Okay.